My name is Socrates. I am an American. Yeah, thanks. At least it's a reaction, you know what I mean? It's a subtle improvement. If you at least acknowledge we exist. Doing better than some countries, that's all I'm saying. So welcome tonight. You all ready for a little bit of fun this evening? I think this year 2022 has been a fun year for lots of people. Who's having a great 2022? Yeah, see. And has anybody been here before? And who's here the first time tonight for one of these Comedy Factory shows? Lots of first timers. Who's come back before? Couple people. Cool. Welcome back. I hope you enjoy your first time. How many Dutch people we have in the house? Lots of Dutch folks. Whoops, did it just go out already? Is that as far as we got? Yeah. Now, see, if people know me, I always say I don't like using wireless microphones. You want to guess why? I got battery issues. So someone in the back could sort of like try to work those batteries this way somehow. Yeah. That other microphone, perhaps, the one right there. Something like a Mike Douglas, if you remember Mike Douglas, he used to walk towards the crowd. So, any other Americans in the crowd?
Yes.
There you go, nice and loud, always helpful. Here it might work, I don't know. Let's see if this one works. Let me see if you can turn that on somehow. Anyway, comedy is, it's like life. Sometimes it's funny, sometimes it's tragic. You know, when you complain about things, you overreact, you know. No, I have experience. If you want to do something with a wireless microphone, have a big sack of batteries like a cocaine addict going on a weekend trip. Anyway, so we're going to somehow do comedy tonight, either with or without a microphone, at this point without. And so it's not the easiest thing in the world, comedy. It's a little harder like this. So I was saying earlier that 2022, difficult year. No? You didn't notice. If you guys can figure it out at some point, that'd be helpful. If not, we're doing it like this, I guess. Anyway, so comedy is this concept of some poor fool tries to be entertaining, you know? You have setups and jokes, and a setup is just the way to get towards the joke, and the joke is the funny part. This was a setup. Kind of a joke. That's a joke. So, does that look like progress? Woohoo! Yeah! I'm an optimist. If you could put two of these things in there that work, that'd be awesome. If anybody knows me, I've been doing this thing for a little while. I've been doing a personal sort of a live performance thing called The Arc of My Arm. Back in March. Were you here for any of that?
Sorry?
Were you here for some of it?
No, you were not wearing a full t-shirt.
Yeah, you saw the early parts of it. Yeah. Back in March, I was learned. Yeah, that's good Dutch. I learned a new Dutch word. A Dutch guy was kind. I ran into this guy on the street, and he taught me a new Dutch word. That word was aangereden, which means to be slammed into. The whole sentence was, ik ben aangereden door een scooterklotser. Which, if you don't know, means I got slammed into by an asshole on a scooter. March 2022. So you would think, you know, I should be doing better now, you know what I mean? Basically, what they did, they used what they call conservative treatment. It's like a conservative battery. Doesn't do anything, you know? And so basically all they did was they gave me a strap. You remember my strap. And drugs.
I also remember your drugs.
Hey! I remember the drugs too. The drugs were the good part. They were the effective part. The strap was helpful, but the drugs, they were useful. And then back in June, I said to them, you know, this thing isn't like healing in a way that would be like healing helpfully, you know? And they said, helaas en pindakaas. which if you don't know, it means oh well peanut butter. It's not a useful Dutch saying, you know, and it's less useful as a medical diagnosis. And so I suggested maybe they could do something, you know, medical. You know, something. They do these things. They cut and stab, I don't know, something besides take drugs. And then tell you not to take the drugs. That was the other advice I constantly got told. Don't take these. What do you want me to do? Take paracetamol. Yeah, but I was taking 12,000 or whatever a day, and they're like, you shouldn't do that. They told me these things. Don't take ibuprofen, which I was taking too, because I was taking 1,200 of that a day. No. What the hell do you want from it? And then it kind of got worse, so I thought we should do something, and I talked to the doctor, because I said to him, you know, this isn't great. And he said, it comes good. Have you heard this from every doctor and therapist? It's like the first thing they teach you in medical school. Tell them it comes good. It's distracting, and it's cheap. It worked, you know what I mean? I ignored it for as long as I could, and I was like, you know, this should be improved. Because in the end, it's like, if it came good, like I don't lift it higher than this, you know? And I basically ended up with erectile arm dysfunction. And the first step to coming good is getting it up. It's not working like this anymore. You know? I can get it a little higher if I push it, but then it looks like I'm a Nazi. And let's face it, that doesn't come good. So at the end of this, they said, okay, we'll have surgery, and my doctor, fortunately for all of us, they're having their 4th child. Huge mystery, yeah. So it's possible he was talking about himself with a bit of extra pride, you know. Comes good. Yeah, I get it, Doc. It comes good. So now they're going to theoretically do surgery on me on the 31st of October. Yay! Thank you so much. Appreciate the American, you know, because he knows if you get anyone to do something medically, it's a miracle. They'll charge you money, but actually doing something, not necessarily. But they put it off at this point because the hospital has COVID. I'm not saying they're filled with COVID patients. The hospital itself apparently has COVID because everybody who's working there is out sick with COVID, and so they can't schedule these things. So I got my 2nd booster this week, though, so yay for that. If you're wondering, will it kill you? Not yet. So what's our thoughts on batteries? Are we going to do this a cappella? How do you guys feel about doing it a cappella? If I can do it, I think you can. I know you're allowed, Emily. Emily, thoughts about doing it without a microphone?
I'm up for it. I'm fine.
You cool with it?
Yeah.
You guys up for listening extra loud?
Yeah.
So what we're going to do is what we've been doing. We're going to say things. Hopefully they're funny. Laugh at the funniest parts. Pity laugh at the other parts because it helps us. So all we need you to do is enjoy it, sit back, give us love and energy, and we'll have a lot of fun tonight, all right?
Who wants a battery? Thank you so much. Bring back the battery.
Emily! Speaking of porn, but it's similar, it's useful, it's, you know, it needs batteries. It's not the same without the batteries, but with it, woo! Whoa. The neighbors can hear what you're doing, that's all I'm saying. Well, you know, it's true. That's the thing about doing stand-up comedy, you're essentially naked up here with just this. And you can see without this thing, it's way worse, right? You almost lose your authority, because like this, you know, at least I sound like I'm doing something. But this, you're just a guy at a bus stop. That's why Mr. Microphone was so good you could take it with you, and you could look like, hey, wait, stop, you know. But I prefer the microphone personally. I'm just saying that, you know. That's the thing. This is just words. All we have are these little sounds that we make, and it's amazing. First of all, that we can understand each other at all, and that we speak different languages, which is even crazier. And when I was in Greece recently, I found out that my Dutch is not useful. I mean, not at all. You know. I mean, occasionally there'd be a tourist. We could chat. A German one, but they still understood a fair bit, you know, or at least they pretended to. Like I was at a restaurant and I was trying to order a fish, which is called tsupuro, but there's a drink called tsupuro. And apparently my accent was suddenly off, and I didn't get it. Then they brought a drink, and if you don't know, it's a really strong drink, and it's good, so I drank it. And then I tried to order the fish again. Got another drink. In the end, I did not have fish that night. But I had a really good time, and I eventually learned the difference between tsupuro and tsupuro. But anyway, you ready for another comedian? Yeah. Give me some love and energy for the second comedian tonight. Give it up for Arianna.
Thank you very much. You're awesome.
See, that's the great thing about comedy. You learn so much where you're doing a comedy show, you know? I didn't know that much about Georgia. You know? Now I know that their bathroom situation, it's impressive, you know? Puts burnings to shame. See, they wipe their ass with the foot. There's a thing called a callback. They don't always work, but they're there, that's all I'm saying. Which is another thing, by the way, as far as like when life throws you 2022. You know, the Dutch have a word for that, which is yeah, well, it applies to lots of things, and it applies to this. Like when the microphone goes out, you can go, but nobody can hear you. But you know what it sounded like. So this is the end of our first half, which is but the good thing is, now you get a chance to get a beer and maybe tsupura, I don't know, maybe get a fish, maybe get a drink. If you need to get a bathroom, there's one back there outside for smoking. 10 minutes beers, we'll see you in about 10 minutes. See you in a few minutes. You like it? Yeah, woo! Thank you so much, guys! Hey, woo! Excited about second half action? Yeah! Beautiful weather, right? This is like great Dutch weather, you know? It's not Dutch weather, it's great global warming weather, which is great for the Dutch. Well, it is, right? I mean, until the flood comes.
What do you mean? We're safe from the flood.
I know, so until the flood comes, without the flood, this has been great. I lived here since 2009, and this is the only year that had 6 months of summer. Well, it's not normal. I don't think, I mean, it sort of could be a red light for somebody, but I think, you know, woohoo! Europe was on fire, I was riding my bike. What it was, it was hell. I was riding my bike is all I was saying. For it was part of the summer, I was on my bike is all I'm saying. Last of the summer, I was not on my bike. Yeah, they make it sound like I'm slamming the Dutch medical system. I'm not, by the way. I'm impressed with the Dutch medical system. I said it's efficient. There's nothing more efficient than doing jack and shit. And the thing is, if you're wondering, I mean, it's like, they're going to go overboard in the reaction kind of thing, because they're going to break it apart. They're going to take a bone from some dead Dutch folk. I assume it's coming from the bone bank, so I'm hoping they're not going to grab a living Dutch person, because that just seems wrong. They're going to drill a hole in my leg. This is the one I was like, oh, they're going to suck out the marrow. Yeah, because it has healing properties. Which sounds like something you read on Facebook, you know? Healing properties. Ooh, and a stone next to my neck. I don't know. Bunch of metals, screws and things. Woohoo! But I'll have a killer scar. And it'll be great for the stage, so it's a tax write-off. And as a comedian, by the way, big concern. Taxes. Well, how do you declare a beer? It's not easy. Just trust me, there's no line for beer. Which is what we normally get paid in. But like I said, I've been living here for a while. I find the language is a fun thing. It's different as an American. You know, we don't speak clearly normally. And if you've heard an American speaking Dutch, yeah, it's painful for me too to listen to it. That weird Midwest person. You know, we have it's just one big country, but there's part of it that's cool, which is where you grew up. I grew up in New Jersey and then Florida. The rest of the country sucks. So does Florida. And it's worse than that because I grew up in South Jersey. North Jersey sucks. But the weird thing with people, it's like if you ask any American, best country in the world, it's America. Still, unaware of the irony. Don't watch the news. It's the easiest way to do it, you know. You ask a British person, even today, they'll still say Britain. Not sure why. Something about irony. And yet you ask a Dutch person, what's the best country in the world? And I've done this. They all say, I don't know anything. The Netherlands? They're like, no, you think so? Yeah, I mean, the weather's crap and they don't know how to cook, but the food itself is great if you buy it and cook it yourself. Yeah. It is, right? My favorite weird Dutch saying is, "Noken in de koken." Which, oddly enough, they rhyme. They like a good rhyming saying, you know, helaas pindakaas, noken in de koken. But noken in de koken, if you don't know, literally means fucking in the kitchen. I've asked hundreds of people, because I have the opportunity to, how do you use noken in de koken in context? You fall down after being slammed into a scooter, and you're laying there gripping your arm in agony and pain, thinking, oh great, this is going to be a fun year. Someone can ride by and go, hey, helaas pindakaas. I get it. The same guy said to me, noken in de koken. What do I do with that? The only thing I know it's possible that Dutch food is so bad because a whole lot of noken and a whole lot of koken. I don't know. No one has said to me, no, how? This is how you use noken and koken. See? Not one of you knows how to use it. It's not just me. The other one, of course, I really like, that you guys don't necessarily even think about it, is the word for nitpicking. You know, the little tiny details on stuff. They go with muted noken. And if we learned anything from the previous joke, you know the second half of that thing. And muted is an ant. Yeah, ant fucking. You teach your children these words, right? What are you doing? Are you muted noken? Don't get it. I just don't get it. I'm sorry I'm complaining a lot right now. They took me off the drugs. Are you ready for another comedian? Yeah! So give it up for our third comedian of the night, the first and second half. If you're keeping score, give it up for Alan!
Back to Socrates.
Thank you so much. Give it up for Alan! Yeah, I lived in Florida for the 21 years, and one night we went out for a walk in the woods, they said to me, and 8 hours later, we found our way back out. That's no joke either. The car got stuck in the mud. We ended up at 3 a.m. at a Wawa-type convenience store, covered in mud and wetness, etc. What'd you look like after you buried the body? The guy didn't even bat an eye at us, you know? I thought it was an amazing. That is life in Florida, is my point. If you've never been there, oh, go. Actually, the launches are fantastic. If you get the chance, go watch the SpaceX launch. I used to watch the shuttle launch from the house. Very, very cool thing about Southern Florida is watching the launches. If you've never seen one, it's more than worth the trip. Thinking to yourself, my God, little monkeys like me, we did that. But again, culture's are a cool thing, and like, again, one of my favorite things about being here in the Netherlands, the word that is the most Dutch of all words, of course, the one that we really use, you know, is, you know, swaffelen. Wait, no, but yeah, it's the, you know, it's to hit your dick against something. The Dutch needed a word for that, for some reason. You know, they just couldn't say, just go hit your dick against that. How often does it come up that you need a word? I think, and it's not just a word. In the year 2008, that was the Dutch word of the year. Yeah, you can look it up. They loved that word that year. Some guy swaffled the Taj Mahal, and his friend videoed it, put it online, 2008. Not a busy year for viral videos in the Netherlands, but this one got attention. I thought we need a word for that. Now, of course, the more useful word, which again, not swaffling, I could use that in context if I had to. You know, man, you can swaffle, but it's more difficult. You have to be really good at aim at it. Because it's not a sexist thing. But again, no clue. But the word, of course, is gezellig. You know, that's the Dutchest of all Dutch words. The useful is the gezellig word, which in the U.S. is hard to do because someone's got a gun. And it's not like if you don't see it, that's helpful. Because you know there's one there. And that's truly ungezellig. Because the guy's looking at you too. But gezellig, if you don't know, it's a wonderful warm evening or a wonderful warm thing. And the great thing about the word is that you have to do it with people. It's a group word. We make it gezellig, which is why the guy with the gun and the bad attitude is so ungezellig, because we're all aware of the guy. It's like a face tattoo. You know, it's not gezellig. But even when the power goes out and things go wrong with a wonderful group of people, we can have a gezellig evening. And that's why I want to say thank you guys for making this such an incredibly gezellig evening. And I appreciate that. And you guys should make it great. So give yourselves a round of applause. We got our last act of the evening. You ready for these things? Yeah. Give me that love energy. Give it up for a good friend of mine. Give it up for Nolan! And another person's perspective. If you wonder what it's like to be a tourist, just imagine being in a bus with people like that. Yeah, that's what it's like. That's people. Anyway, we've come towards the end of this thing, so... If you had a lot of fun, come back for the Haarlem Comedy Factory again. If you see me around Socrates, yeah, come sing whatever, see how the arm's doing, see whatever. See you guys next time. Thanks for coming out. Give yourself a good hand.